அடுத்ததாக திருமதி இந்திரா தங்கபாலு அவர்கள்.
Respected His Excellency, Honorable former President of Mauritius, respected Ambassador of Guyana, respected convener of this conference, and respected dignitaries on the stage, a very good morning to one and all present here. The topic of this session is women empowerment through education, employment, and entrepreneurship. We just had a very enlightening speech on the facet of education, and I'm sure we have wonderful speakers here to cover the idea of entrepreneurship and employment as well. So I think I'm going to take the liberty to introduce you to another perspective, or probably my view of how I see this idea of women empowerment. Let's go by the United Nations definition first. They actually define it as promoting women's sense of self-worth, their ability to determine their own choices, and the right to influence social change for themselves and for others. And like the previous speaker rightly pointed, education is one such tool. Employment and entrepreneurship are all tools to achieve this goal, but they are not the end in itself. The problem of women empowerment runs deeper than just giving women the opportunities to use these tools. It is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru who mentioned that if you educate a man, you educate an individual, and if you educate a woman, you educate a family. And the following sentence I would like to emphasize, he also said, a woman empowered means Mother India is empowered. The meaning of this line runs very deep, particularly in today's parlance. Of course, education is considered as one of the primary milestones in women empowerment. But if you take the latest gender inequality index data released, after so many years of progress, still India as a country ranks 126th out of 146 countries. This index studies its economic participation and opportunity of women, their education attainment, their political participation, and their health and survival. If you break down into the subcategories, the data is far more alarming. In political participation, luckily we are in the 48th rank, primarily thanks to the Panchayati Raj system and the increasing number of women walking into parliament these days. In education, we are in the 107th rank. In the topic we are focusing today, employment and entrepreneurship, we are a dismal 143 out of 146 countries recorded. And in health and survival, unfortunately, our number is much lower than that. As much as we speak about our progress, I think it is also important to look at the areas where immediate policy intervention is required, where women, us as a society, collectively, as individuals, as governments, can step in to correct the situation. The former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, rightly pointed that women empowerment is not a goal, it is a prerequisite for economic development, for social development. The United Nations and the World Bank released a joint study titled Endangering Development. If you note, they have very strongly emphasized that gender equality must be represented in any and every policy framework. The rights, the voice, and the resources must be distributed equally amongst the genders for actual development. In my personal opinion, I am not very comfortable with the term of just women empowerment. Women empowerment is not a problem for women. They were initially saying it's a women's topic, let women take the forefront. As much as we appreciate the gesture and giving us the voice to speak in a platform like this, I would also like to mention that women empowerment is not a woman's problem. Women empowerment is a human problem. It's a social problem. It's a cultural problem. It is an economic problem. And above all, it is a development problem. It is a development problem. only 23% of the women in the country are participating in the economic sphere, whereas it is 74% of the men. Women are the single largest untapped potential in any economic market in the world. The economic development of not this country, but any country, is in the hands of women, not because they are not already participating, it's because they are not participating yet. If the women have to participate in a larger percentage, say 20-30% more than what they are today, the world economy is expected to become a $28 trillion economy by the year 2028. Which is a 26% increase in global GDP, a 26% increase in global GDP. And thereby, I think the business leaders will be able to understand that it is a huge economic development issue, not just a gender issue. And the other problem I have with the title of women empowerment is that it is not just a section of a population, a quota, or an obligation or an international obligation. It is the idea of gender equality. If we begin to start calling this as a gender equality session, it would emphasize the importance, and the perspective opens a lot of avenues. Women not only lack access to education, some opportunities in employment and entrepreneurship. In a lot of areas, they lack basic human rights. When they get the basic human rights, they lack infrastructure, supportive infrastructure. And when there is infrastructure, there are safety issues. Once all these issues are taken care of, there is an issue of choice. And once there is issue of choice, then comes the issue of freedom. All these are also issues which women face. There is no one-point solution, but there is one common denominator to all these problems. Can anyone take a guess? There is one common denominator to all these problems women face. No, I don't blame men. Mindset. Mindset is the problem. If you, since you've mentioned chauvinism, I don't think it is an inherent problem in our culture. If you take the Indus Valley civilization for that matter, women were given more rights. They were given equal opportunity to participate domestically in the social life. Yes, sir? Mind block also. They were able to participate. Even in that Sangam period, they were women poets, writing, starting from Avayar, Karaikal Ammayar, and Kakai Padiniyar, who even wrote grammar, the only existing grammar for poetry in Tamil. தமிழில் இருக்கும் ஒரே செய்யுள் இலக்கண நூல் அதை எழுதியவர் ஒரு பெண்பால் புலவர். சங்க காலத்திலேயே 56 பெண்பால் புலவர்கள் பட்டியலிடப்பட்டுள்ளனர். அகநானூறு, புகநானூறு போன்ற சங்க இலக்கிய பாடல்கள் வழியிலாகவே. So even in the Indus Valley civilization, or if you come to our down south, even in the Sangam Tamil culture, women were given more rights and respect in the society. This inherent problem which we are facing in between of patriarchy and societal restrictions are something which came in between. They are not native to our culture, and I don't think we should hold on to them that much. When I mentioned change in mindset, we must normalize and redefine gender roles. Once you break the gender role pattern, I think there is no mind block any longer, as sir mentioned. We must start giving positive role models. We need positive male role models who assume more responsibilities overall, not only in just being of economic support to the family, but being all kinds of support to a family. See, why I say this is because when a male gets education and employment and then further economic participation and activity, his promotion goes from A to B to C. But when a woman gets the same thing, it is A plus B plus C. It is not the same promotion. She is carrying in a piggyback other responsibilities also. A recent study, recently awarded Nobel Prize winner, Esther Claudio. Her study was a comprehensive study on the pay gap in gender and why women are lagging behind. And the first primary indicator she states is childbirth. After the first childbirth, the pay gap widens. If there is an overall participation, if we smash gender roles, and if we smash genders and just accept humans and humans, families as families, problems as problems, everything is shared and everything is solved, in my opinion. It will take us hundreds of years to catch up with equal economic participation, political participation, and educational attainment. But a change in mindset, I think, is the fastest way to give women the respect they deserve, the space they deserve, the voice they deserve, the choice they deserve. And I think even in an economic perspective, they are the single largest source and scope for development. Hence, I think even in budgets, as much as gender budgeting is spoken globally, the implementation is not done. It's not done. I would like to reiterate that it is not a separate ministry, it is not a separate quota. It is a way of life. It is a part and parcel, a most important parcel of every activity we do. So I think more inclusive policies, more inclusive planning, a more inclusive mindset, considering a woman's development as human development and national development, this change in mindset will bring more merit and more progress to this entire issue we face. And I'm coming back to Nehru, an empowering woman is empowering a nation. And let us forget woman and man. Empowering humans as such is the biggest help we can do, or is the right direction to achieve all our human development goals for a better India, for a better world, and for a better tomorrow. These are my opinions. Thank you.